As promised, we're going to be looking at the return data. The return data being the data that is being returned by the API. So if we look over here, right, in the mock folder, and we look just at the data that is being returned, we can see here that everything is underscored. So for instance, we have viewport, location, geometry, northeast, lat lang, that all looks okay. But as we go down, when it's a multiple word thing, like opening hours, it's underscored. Open now is underscored. Place ID is underscored. HTML attributes, photo references, all of this stuff that is multi-word, user rating total, it's all underscored. And so this is not something that we usually want to use in JavaScript, because we don't want to do something like, well, result dot and then user underscore rating underscore total. We like camel case more. So one thing that we prefer is, for instance, something like this, user rating total. Now, I hear you thinking, Mo, how are we supposed to adapt what comes back from here to match that case for the underscore words? Well, that's a good question. And for that, what we need to do is we need to use a NPM package, and it's called Camelize. And Camelize is a package that recursively transforms keys to be camel case. So Camelize, for instance, if you took this object fee-fi-fo and beep boop and you camelized it, it's going to return you fee-fi-fo and beep boop. So it takes all of the underscored words and all of the dot slash words and all of the words that are broken up by slashes and dots, and it camelizes them for us. So how do we do this? Well, the first thing we need to do is we need to go to our terminal, and we need to do something called, we need to create a new terminal, and we need to say yarn add camelize. And so that's going to allow us to use this package, right? And the way that we use it is we import camelize from camelize, and then we can just wrap our result in it. So if we wrap our result in it, what we're going to see here, if we go to our terminal and we go to Node, what we'll see is we'll actually be adapting the information to be camelized. So if we console.log our result here, we seem to be getting an error in the render method of this. But if we quickly open our and reload, what we're going to see here is our returned information, right? This is after we ran camelize. And what we can see is opening hours is now camel cased. Open now is now camel cased. And all of this information is now camel cased. User rating total. If we compare that to what we were seeing in our mock data, right? In, for instance, Antwerp.js, if we look at that and compare it, user rating total is not supposed to be like this. So if we go look, we have price level, plus code, all of that stuff, open now, opening hours. So all of that stuff is being translated, right? User rating total is normally like underscored, and now we see that it is camel cased. So this is an optimization that allows us to create consistency for the information coming in, because you never know how your API is returning you data. On the back end, they may have different principles. They may use underscores. They may use dots. You don't really know how they're going to return you the information, but you want to create consistency for your application. You don't want to be going through your application doing result dot, and then one API is returning you something with underscores, user total rating, and another API is returning you like result dot user total with an uppercase U, and another API is returning you. You want everything to be the same. So that's why we use Camelize. And a way that we implement this is we usually have something called a restaurants transform function. And that's going to take the result and it's going to do things to the result. So what it'll do to the result in this case is it'll return Camelize of result. And the way that we do that is usually we take this, right? And we do a dot then and we say restaurant transform. And then we can do dot then and we can say transformed response. And we can say console.log of the transformed response. And then we'll have the transformed response properly transformed for us in the terminal. And so that allows us to kind of create this chain of events that is happening. So when we do our restaurant requests, when it comes back, hey, transform it, camelize it. And then once we have that, we have our transformed response and we can start working with that transformed response in case we wanted to change any properties or do anything special to it. But if we wanted to do anything special to the results, usually what we would do is we would camelize it ahead of time and then we would kind of transform it that way ahead. So we would do something like, okay, const new result, right, is equal to camelize result. And then we would say return new result. And we would potentially like say, okay, well, new result dot some extra property is equal to new, right? We could add properties, we could remove properties, we could do all types of things here in this transform function to make sure that the response that we're getting back is going to be what we require. So in the next video, we'll look at what additional properties we need.